with my grandparents.
Oh, okay.
And this is what the house looked like back in the 1800s. Probably, it looked like this in the 1920s, and it looked like this before they tore it down. And
did they live in it? Your grandparents live in it?
yeah, my mother was raised in the house, and it looked like this when she was raised in it. And then I made the tree just out of guesswork. Just kept putting layers of zigzag, different threads, colors of threads in it, and then I put the names of all the children in it.
Oh. Isn't that something?
Yeah, the peg is part of the house.
It helped the rafters in the house were made out of cedar logs, and the pegs helped them together.
Well, that's pretty cool.
And it was made in the earliest date we have is before the Civil War.
Wow.
We don't know how long it was built before that. And there's a cemetery back behind the house. And the first grave was a Civil War soldier. He and his brother volunteered, and they were both in prison in Chicago, and I didn't know there was a Confederate prison in Chicago. And they had 5,000 Confederate soldiers there, and a lot of them died from pneumonia. And his brother died while he was there. He made his way back to Virginia, and then he was walking home, and walking from Spears Ferry down the river to home. He was 7 miles from home, and a sniper shot him. And they got word to his mother, and she took a boat up the river, and I don't know how she done that. And picked him up and took him home. And he died about 3 days after she got him home. And he was the first grave in the cemetery. And about 6 years ago, one of my cousins got onto it. He didn't have any mark or anything. Except a lot of graves in that cemetery just have a flat stone sticking up at them. But they did have enough sense back years ago, while some of the older people, my grandfather and some of the older people in the community were still alive, that they identified all the graves and got a mapped them all out. And one of my cousins got in connection with that Confederacy reenactment bunch, whatever that is, and the government, and got a government stone marker for it. And then the Confederate reenactment group came, and with the Confederate uniforms on, and did the ceremony and unveiled the stone. And it was a really moving service.